everybody, this is Mary.
And this is Julie.
And you are listening to the High Priestess Hype Club. When I was looking at Matthew Perry's chart, what I wanted to look at was his chart where he was born. I did not pull his relocated chart.
Okay.
Because it's like, birth and death. It doesn't matter where he lives. We can take the natal chart and look at it. And
interesting.
As soon as I opened it up, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, so first of all, lunar eclipse. Ending. Huge ending.
Yeah.
Right? So we've got that. The second thing we have is his north node in the 8th house. The 8th house is transformation, death, rebirth, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He has Neptune transiting it. So Neptune in Pisces is water.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And it's transiting his 8th house and his north node. So
and north node is like what you're here to learn in this life.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So we know Matthew Perry's had a lot of struggles with substances. So that was some of the stuff he was working through. The other piece is his Chiron return was happening. So if you remember the last time we talked about that, we had talked a little bit about Michael Jackson in that last recording.
Yeah.
So Chiron return is where you heal. You have, you have your greatest healing by transforming. Well, yeah. The moon was also next to his Chiron. There's a lot happening there with him. And I think for him, his 12th house, he had some karmic stuff. Like his Venus was in his 12th house. So we know he had some karmic stuff with women. Lilith was there. So it was like not being recognized for who he is. That stuff he was learning. And then keeping the sacred fire going. That's his Vesta, all in the 12th house. So I think he did a lot of work around trying to work through those things. But with the eclipse, the way it hit with the water, boom. So I'm not surprised he had a water death. Gonna be interesting to see what they come up with the toxicology report, because Neptune is also, substances.
Right. Yeah.
And the Great Escape. So he could have been, trying to escape and, sitting in the hot tub, whatever it was. But this poor guy. I mean, it's
sad.
Now, again, we've talked about this, and I'll say this again, just because this transit's in here doesn't mean if you have the same transit in your chart somewhere that's going to happen to you. That's how it played out with him.
Right. And I think you mentioned before that like it plays out that way. It's kind of like you're coming to a point with these certain transits that like you can go one way or another, right? Like different things can happen and sometimes things line up, but it's more of indicators of influences that were happening that could have caused something like this to happen. It's not like that's it, fate done.
Right. Correct. Yeah. So that's the thing. If someone goes and looks at their chart and it's like, oh my God, you don't have to worry about that. But if you think about it, this man was being born in Massachusetts. He was a double Leo with a Scorpio moon.
That's intense.
That's intense. So he came in with real intense
and a lot of energy, like a lot of
Yeah. And his son's in his first house. So he's all about who he is and how he presents to the world. And, he's bigger than life. And that's always how he was, funny, charming, all that kind of stuff. So he played that out really well. Just unfortunately, I think that substance stuff was what got him. So it's too bad, because I think he was doing a lot for the community that was dealing with addiction and in recovery. So hopefully he gets remembered for that. But it just, that's what happened to him, unfortunately. So again, if you look at someone's chart, don't worry if you see that kind of stuff in your chart, because it doesn't have to appear that way. But that's what happened with poor Matthew Perry. So and if someone's looking at their charts, I originally pulled his relocated and I was like, this doesn't feel right. I had to go back to his natal chart. So for folks out there, when I'm pulling relocated, all that means is that you're moving the chart to where they're living at that point. So technically he was in Los Angeles, right?
Right.
But where he grew up and all his influences, no matter where he moved, is in his natal chart. And that's why I looked at it from here. So if folks out there are looking at the relocated and you're trying to figure it out, don't worry about that. Pull the natal. You can see a little bit more in there, which is why I saw that aspect of 8th house, Neptune going through it. Yikes.
You see that there. And on that north node.
Yeah. So that means his south node was in the 2nd house. So the stuff he brought in was being able to make money with who he was. And that's
and there you go.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that's what happened with him. But I think his legacy will carry on. I do. And I think he contributed a lot to the world, comedy wise, everything. So we'll remember him in a good way. But in case people were curious about what if it wasn't his chart, it was
Yeah, there
it
you
was
can
sitting in
see.
there and it could have happened. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. But listen, we're gonna talk about Taylor Swift soon. We're gonna talk about some other folks in the news right now, and we'll keep you guys posted. But if there's anything you guys want to know about a certain celebrity or anything like that, let us know and we'll pull their chart and we'll talk about it.
Yeah, dude, who do you want to hear about? Let us know. We'll pull
Yeah,
it. We'll talk about it. It'll be fun.
it'll be fun. So remember, High Priestess Hype Club at gmail.com.
Yep.
And don't forget, guys, you are magic.
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at High Priestess Hype Club, and subscribe to us on whatever platform you're currently listening to us on now, because we're back every Thursday to hype you up. Email us at highpriestesshypeclub@gmail.com and tell us what you think. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.